The cold weather snap has broken, and I can remove my $1 million piece of cardboard now. Sure helped out when it was like minus 40. The cold weather snap has ended. It's going to be like plus digits today. That minus 40 sure felt a lot colder than normally, but definitely survived. It's actually the first time living in this house that I used my garage to park my vehicle and to keep it warm during this cold spell. Usually my vehicles are always parked outside because I'm always working on something, but this time it definitely was a lifesaver keeping the vehicle inside. Car's been outside in a deep freeze for the past week, so I need to get it going. Just because it's been sitting for a long time, I'm gonna throw the capacitor jump starter on it because these cold weathers sure suck the life out of the battery. Come on, 14. Should be. There we go. Fired right up after sitting for a week in like minus 30, minus 40 weather. Once the temperature gets to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, I'm gonna take it for a rip because I still haven't driven it since I repaired those CAN bus and the power wires to the electronic power steering unit. So I'm gonna take it for a spin, make sure there's no issues, we're looking good, no error codes. Car seems to drive good, no issues, no warnings. All right, good day everybody. Back in the garage right now. Got a couple fun projects we're gonna work on. Gonna take a break from doing any kind of mechanical work. For one, I'm still waiting on parts. Still need to do the steering stabilizer and do the annual rock in the front. What I do want to talk about earlier, when I changed out the batteries, I put 2 new batteries in, and I discussed that earlier. I had no more issues with the temperature control, the stereo not coming off like it should. The problem with these modern vehicles is that even though your vehicle will start, if your battery voltage is low, you're going to have all sorts of electrical gremlins, and you can go around chasing a problem that doesn't actually exist. For example, for me, the Jeep would start fine, but it wasn't until it got cold. The cold weather snaps the life out of a battery, and that's where I found out that secondary batteries, the original old battery, had gotten bad and started taking out the new one. So this time around, I wasn't messing around. I replaced both batteries, and the whole weekend I was at work, I remote started it twice at work because I worked 12-hour shifts. It was like minus 40, and I never had an issue. So as far as this battery goes, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it as of yet. It's still under warranty. It's got a warranty for 5 years, and it's not even 2 years old yet. Now, a couple things we're going to do in this video is I have a new Android stereo for the Jeep JK I'm going to try out. I do have an Alpine stereo in there now. It's an Apple CarPlay. The problem with that is that once I get out in the woods and I'm out of cellular service, I no longer have GPS. Where this Android stereo has GPS built in, so I can download a bunch of maps. And I think it might be better in the long run, because the Alpine stereo, besides for the Apple CarPlay, there's really nothing good about it. And this other stereo I got does have Apple CarPlay. And I do have this Garmin GPS I picked up actually a long time ago. Picked this up at Cabela's when it was on sale. And then I picked up this RAM mount to go along with it. And that was kind of be my backup when I'm out in the middle of nowhere. So I got some maps downloaded to that Garmin, and I was going to use that as a backup to try to help find my way. I'm still going to install this, even though this Android stereo is getting in. So that's the Android stereo right there. Actually looks pretty nice. And then, whoops. Now what I found that was terrible is that there's no wiring schematics with it. For example, this has got the CAN bus controller right here, but depending if you have an amplifier or not depends on how this wiring harness goes. So I take the 4 plug and plug it into here, into the 8 wire, or if you didn't have an amplifier, you plug the 8 wire into 8 wire. But then we have all these other wires to install. I mean, they're all labeled, but at the same time, it would be kind of nice. It doesn't tell you which one of these is for the Apple CarPlay. So this is the Alpine that's in it, Alpine i109. So as you can see, it's very limited as far as what I could do. Just Apple CarPlay, audiobooks, podcasts, that kind of stuff. Let's start getting this thing out. And then when you got that hole, you stick your screwdriver in, lift it up, and once you turn it, pulls right out. And then get your hand in there, pull that out. So just use a screwdriver, push that clip over, push the tab in, that part's out. And 7 mil it is. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. And got a bunch of things here. And there. This should be all out. Actually, I could just plug that one directly in, and then where's the factory harness? Perfect. I'm just gonna hang that down. All right. See what happens. Oh, we got powered by Android. She's powering up. Powered by Google. No fancy boot up screen. There we go. So this thing's actually very cool. I'll have to get it like properly installed so you can see, but you can go into the apps. When you I'll close the door, then I'll open the door. Shows the other side still open. That's kind of cool. I do need to take all these clips off and transfer them over to the new harness. Sadness is real. So now I think I could take this cover, and I think so I'm gonna take the phone cable. I'm gonna run that up to the top. That didn't seem to fit in there too well. Alright, I'm gonna push that tab in. Problem with this whole setup is that it's like IKEA. It's a one-way trip. Now comes the fun part. So I get the antenna in. plug the wiring in. Okay. See if I can tuck everything else in there. Oh, I almost forgot. I have the microphone connection. The original one from the Alpine. I'll plug that in there now. Well, looking like I'm gonna have to pull the old dash out and put the new one in. I thought I could get it in, but apparently not. It did actually look like one time there was 2 screws in there, but not now. All right, get this new one. Actually, probably have to take the clips off the old one, won't I? Won't I? Of course. The struggle is real. All right. Round 2 with all new clips. I was kind of hoping this is going to be a simple project. It seems to be turning into something a whole lot more. So the dash piece that comes with it will not fit. So now I'm gonna have to modify that and switch everything back over to the old dash. It's the problem with these aftermarket cheap kits is that they don't fit properly. The tabs are sitting way too far low. They won't even snap in. So I need to cut all those tabs off now. So I'll be able to fit this thing up. Otherwise it won't go. So cutting those tabs off, I was able to get it to fit with the factory dash because the one that came with the kit obviously would not fit. So now I'm just gonna power it up. I got the stereo fit up. I really like the stereo, except all the accessories that they came with it don't exactly fit up all that well. But I am going to pack up the old stereo up for now. If I have any issues, I can just swap it out in the future. A few days ago it was like minus 40. Today is like plus 6. I think I'm going to have a fire tonight. So this is the radio screen. It's actually pretty cool. And go back to this screen. And you got all your apps. Got it connected to the internet, so I can go on YouTube, download apps from the Play Store. You got Netflix, Google. So in the menu, you got a ton of features. Let me just get back here. Sound. I turned the keypad tone off because that's kind of annoying. Amp, subwoofer. The equalizer is actually pretty cool. So you get the equalizer screen here. You got all your different user sections that you could set up. I always set mine little fader to the rear. What it is actually pretty cool in that sense. And the subwoofer, you can tell how much volume you want, system, date and time, user. I am waiting for an adapter, a 4-pin adapter that I could, because I have the backup camera there, but instead of buying a new camera, I'll buy an adapter for that cable so I could plug it in. Then I won't have to use that anymore, which will actually be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. I did throw some tape up top there because the stereo is actually really cool. The mounting of it is not, which is the downside. So then when you want to connect it to CarLink, you go like that, and I'll plug in my phone. So I just got my phone plugged in, and I'm up top. That'll take me back. So I got my audiobooks. I can play my music. Some GPS maps. So this is where the dilemma comes. I got this RAM mount because I was going to mount it on the passenger side. On the Jeep TJ, I mounted one on the holy shit handle, except on the JK, it's too big. So I'm going to have to come up with something else to make this work. I think I might just come up with another style of ball mount. And then adhesive, stick it onto the dash somewhere. So this RAM mount will probably get installed into the TJ, considering that I won't need another GPS because I got the Android stereo in here now. I bought this before I got the new stereo. So it's a good deal at Cabela's. Could take that hiking. I like to get back into hiking this year too. We'll see what happens. Just been so swamped with projects that I haven't had time to do anything. Just got the TJ inside. I want to have a fire tonight, but hoping that's not rain clouds coming. Now that I got the JK outside, you'll be able to see that the rear end does sag a little bit. It does sit up a lot higher though. Still waiting on the parts, but I love those green control arms. Too bad the rest of the Jeep wasn't green. Crazy to believe I've had this TJ for over 10 years. Bought it 10 years ago for $500 with a blow-in motor. She's come a long way since then. This is one of the first mods I ever did. Was the end cab winch controls. They no longer work now because of the new winch, but it was kind of nice. If I want to do some winching, I'd flick the lever, turn it on, activate the power, and of course you see the button in or out, so you don't have to have the remote. That's actually really cool. But if I remove it, then I got a hole there. Got my RAM mount. I'm going to change that out for an aux beam one. RAM mount for a phone. I don't know where I'm going to mount that GPS now. Spent all that money, fancy RAM mount, and I don't have a clue what I'm going to do with it. I can probably almost guarantee you this thing's got a few knots in it and it's wet, so it's not going to split. Oh, wait. I think it will. Come on. There we go. And we'll see how well we get a fire going tonight. Wood's pretty wet from the melt. Dug out a big piece, chopped her up. I don't know if we're gonna have enough wood to last till spring now. Depends how many fires I have. But geez, snow's melting fast. Did pick up some beers, another pack of Dino Sours and Whistler Brewing Company Rambler pack. They need to be chilled, so I'm gonna grab something else from the fridge. This wood is pretty wet, so it might be pretty pitiful fire, but it might pick up. Oh, it's starting to go. Fire's dying down, and this is the beer I was sipping on. It says Red Truck, Hard Day, Northwest IPA, 6.3%. Let's put some hair in your balls. Anyways, it's motherfucking beer time, everybody. I remember back in the day where I hated IPAs, and I actually really enjoy them now. So far, I really like that stereo. The time will tell if I have any problems with it later on in the future, but having an Android plus CarPlay is for sure a deal breaker. Having both, that way you can download maps directly to the Android device, use them out on the trail, still have your Apple CarPlay or Android Play, whatever, so you can still charge your phone, listen to audiobooks and all that other kind of crap. But yeah, pretty excited. I'll see how it works when it's like next time it's like -40, see how responsive that screen is. But I want to thank you guys for watching. It's a short video. We had some things to take care of. We had some issues with the Jeep, which turned out the batteries. Just because your vehicle's starting doesn't mean your batteries are good. Low voltage causing issues, especially in newer vehicles with CAN bus systems. You probably heard this many times before, that when the batteries get weak, you start having all sorts of electrical issues. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. I got the TJ in the shop for hopefully a quick fix, but we'll see what happens. Take care, everybody. See you in a week.